Hello, everyone. Hi. It's a warm day, right? So basically, I just wanted to share a couple of words with you before Mayor Bowser comes and speaks to you. My name is Claudia Vasquez, and I am here to share with you just a little tiny bit of my experience with my encounter with homelessness. And I'm sharing this with you even though it's something that's very personal to me. And the reason why I'm sharing it with you is because of places like short-term housing are very helpful. In the interim, definitely what we're looking for is more dignified and permanent housing in the future, something to put out there. But I am a mother, I am a college graduate, I am a teacher, I am a friend, I am definitely a mentor. And with all of these things under my belt, I still found myself homeless. And it was something that I did not foresee. I'm sure anyone can tell you that no one ever foresees homelessness as something that they plan on their to-do list. Today, check it out, right? But it's something that we experience nonetheless. And the way that I encounter homelessness is through personal struggles. There were some issues that I had to deal with that I did not foresee coming. But I can honestly tell you that places like the Kennedy, which is up on the Petworth area, was so helpful to me. Wraparound services, I mean, we're talking definitely people who care and want to listen to you. And I'm sitting here before you in a very grateful and humbled manner so that you know and you can see the face of homelessness is not always this stigma that you have of the look and the smell and, lack of a job. Those aren't really the criteria for what homelessness is, but it does happen. And the fact that there are places that we can find that are an interim to a more permanent home situation are so helpful. And I can honestly just say that I'm really grateful that places like this exist so that we can definitely find something more permanent. With that, I just really wanted to share with you that the support that Mayor Bowser has invested in terms of finding short-term housing is definitely helpful. But I will make a call also to find, as I mentioned, more dignified and permanent housing for definitely many families that I've encountered who are looking and are very active in finding the means to be able to afford this city, which is an amazing city. I'm a Washingtonian, so I love it. I've seen it before the Target got here. So definitely know what I'm talking about when I'm telling you that the city is an amazing city. And as we continue to grow, it will be even more amazing. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Mayor Bowser.
Everybody, let's hear it for Claudia Vasquez. And Claudia is representing a lot of Washingtonians who are deserving of a second chance, deserving of a landing spot, so she and they and their families can get back to living the life that they so richly deserve. And that's exactly what short-term family housing is all about. I stand here a very proud mayor with many members of my team. We laid out a big goal, and that goal was to make sure that that short-term family housing for families was dignified, was safe, provided the services, was in every part of the District of Columbia that would serve our families well. We set out to do that by first closing D.C. General, and that's exactly what we did last fall. We set out to make sure we looked in all 8 wards of Washington, D.C., and asked the entire city to be a part of the solution, and that's what we were able to get accomplished as well. Our last site is here in Ward 1. And we looked high and low. We had a good site. Now we have an even better site. And that site is right in the middle of the community, and it is going to allow us to build replacement units for people exiting homelessness who need apartment-style housing. I think we add more units here at this site because it can accommodate more sites. And because of the great leadership of the Ward 1 community, let me first recognize your council member, Brianne Nadeau. Thank you, Council Member Nadeau. And Jen Bristol. Where's Jen Bristol? Thank you, Jen Bristol, Commissioner Bristol. who co-chaired our advisory committee. And the advisory committees were so important to the work that we were able to do hand in hand with the government and the community. So you knew exactly what we were doing every step of the way. We already have short-term family housing facilities open in wards 4, 7, and 8. Let's hear it for those communities because they really stepped up. And we will shortly celebrate the opening of wards 5, 6, and 3 in the coming months. And here in Ward 1, I'm going to ask my team to talk to you about the program that we have planned here. And I just want to thank everybody involved, from our Interagency Council on Homelessness to Laura Zeilinger, who's here with us today, and the entire DHS team, Keith Anderson and DGS, who are going to be our construction partners here, Ashley Emerson, who is the mayor's from the Mayor's Office of African American Affairs, and Polly Donaldson from DHCD. Give them all a big round of applause. So with that, let us just remember what our persistence has netted us. Now, I hear there's somebody who lives on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue that's taking credit for our progress. But let me tell you who's responsible for our progress. Look around you out there. Our solution, since we have started investing in our Way Home campaign, has resulted in a 22% decrease in homelessness citywide, led by a 45% decrease in family homelessness. The budget that we passed this year represents the commitment of D.C. taxpayers to invest $37 million to continue these efforts, and over $20 million to ensure that these new programs are a success. And we are even very, very proud of what we are going to be embarking on to do everything that we've done in the family homeless system, and all of the improvements that we've made in the family homeless system, from prevention to short-term family housing, to making sure we're investing in our Housing Production Trust Fund, is also helping our single homeless population as well. And we already started on a brand new life-changing facility in Ward 8, and we look forward to sharing those details with you in the very near future. So with that, let me let you hear from our Ward 1 council member, who has been very focused on this project, supportive of this project, and displayed tremendous leadership in working with neighbors, the government, and our advocacy community to deliver this for Ward 1. Thank you, Councilmember Nadeau.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser, for your leadership in all 8 wards to end homelessness for all of our families and our individuals who have experienced homelessness chronically. I do also want to highlight the tremendous work of our advisory committee co-chairs, Commissioner Bristol and Director Greenwald, who really helped us navigate this process, ensure that it was incredibly thorough and dynamic and responsive to community needs, which is how you get to a groundbreaking. Right? That's how you get where we are today. I also want to acknowledge Commissioner Cedric Mohammed. There are so many people in this room that I could name one by one. I'm going to stick to elected officials because otherwise I'll be here all day. But I just want you to know that I see you and I know what your contributions were to this process. And maybe everybody that comes and lives in this housing won't know exactly what you did, but those of us here today know. And hopefully you will know in your hearts that every time a family comes to stay in Ward 1 temporarily while they're experiencing homelessness, that they will be in a safe and dignified place because of your hard work. So thank you. And let's give everybody who was a part of this a round of applause. So I wear 2 hats today. I'm the Ward 1 council member, and I'm the chair of the Human Services Committee, and those are 2 roles that are very important to me. So it has been my privilege to serve as the chair of the Human Services Committee as we have overseen the closure of DC General and the opening of these incredible family temporary housing sites. I've been charged with serving our most vulnerable residents, and the committee is meeting that challenge, working in partnership with the mayor, working in partnership with the director and the deputy mayor. And through our partnership, hundreds and hundreds of families have been housed. In this budget that's coming up this fall, we will have made a bigger financial commitment to housing our homeless residents than we have ever made in the past, and that is tremendous. The way it works is the mayor puts money in the budget, and then the council puts a little bit more in, and then the council puts a little bit more in, and this year I got a third pass at it. And at the end of the day, we're actually going to end chronic homelessness for 615 individuals in FY20. Can we? Yeah. And that is partnership, right? That is all of us working together. That is, so I'm really proud that we're here today. And I want to say that on a personal note, I bought my first home just blocks from here. And I chose to live in this neighborhood because of all the things that make it convenient. Easy access to transit, relatively short commute, great restaurants, shops, and amenities. This neighborhood is really a great representation of the diversity of Ward 1. And it's not only the most ethnically diverse ward in the district, it's also the most economically diverse ward. And a large part of that is the thoughtful housing choices that were made decades ago for this area in particular. So a big part of the resurrection of 14th Street included thoughtfully planned housing, privately owned but publicly subsidized cooperatives like Nehemiah and Ella Jo Baker, market rate condominiums and rental units, and newly and rehabilitated single-family housing, which was jump-started by programs like Manna's Nehemiah Houses and the Homestead Program. And some of you were involved in those programs back in the day, and I'm not going to say who you are, but you know, okay? This thoughtful planning is what's resulted in the vibrant community that we all enjoy here on 14th Street and in Columbia Heights, because an investment of this kind means that the long-term residents have opportunities to stay in the community in which they've long contributed and gives the chance to new people to add vibrancy as well. So I believe that this project will add to that vibrancy. We have the short-term family housing units, we have the permanent supportive housing units, and we are going to improve this very rec center, which is run by our friends at LAYC, which is tremendous. So there's a little bit of something for everybody to be proud of in this project. I think our residents here in Ward 1 want to do their part to help our homeless neighbors, and I'm really proud of the support this project has gained from ANCs, from neighbors all across the ward. I can't even tell you how many times people ask me, when is this project going to be done? Right? When are we going to welcome our homeless neighbors into this space? And that makes me really proud as the Ward 1 council member. So thank you, Mayor, for all of your hard work. Thank you, community members who really made this possible through your engagement. Today is a really great day in Ward 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. I now want to welcome Director Laura Zeilinger, who leads our Department of Human Services. And Laura and her team, as I mentioned, the short-term family housing production is one part of our strategy that is allowing us to drive down homelessness in the district. And we have a really capable, passionate leader. Director Zeilinger.
I appreciate those words, and certainly behind every capable, passionate leader, there is both the leader who provides the confidence and the run room to do hard things and things that have never been done before, and have the back of for that change and allow it to happen, and a tremendous team of people who are day in, day out really doing the work and ensuring that it's being done well and caring for our families. So I do want to take one moment to acknowledge Tamitha Davis-Ramah, our Family Service Administrator, Noah Abraham, our Deputy Administrator for Families, Jenna Savasco, who's our Short-Term Family Housing Program Manager, Lisa Franklin Kelly, who is our Facilities Manager, and Dwayne Gentry, our Short-Term Family Housing Project Manager. And there are many others who are contributing, but those are some of the people on my team who work each and every day to make these projects a reality. And we, as the mayor noted, we have 3 programs that are up, alive with families, and we are realizing the change. And there has been almost nothing in my career that has been as gratifying as going from breaking ground to seeing families thriving and living in a space in the ways that we envisioned when we sat around as a community in a very democratic process and debated design requirements. That what does it look like to create a temporary space that sends the message to families that this space is for you, you are cared about, and you will be supported here. And we are making progress across all of the programs that to make it real. Just on Friday, I was at the topping off of the Ward 3 short-term family housing where the roof was poured over the weekend. I mean, these projects are moving along despite a lot of healthy debate and agreement and disagreement over what does it mean to cite homeless services in every community, nestled in, not isolated at the outskirts. And so, there's some beautiful images around us of what does that actually mean in practice. And they say that a picture conveys 1,000 words. And I will say it does, and these buildings convey an even more powerful message that should not be underestimated. And I'm going to tell you that these buildings speak. They convey you are safe to the families who come in. You are worthy. You do not stand alone. Your community sees you and is not looking past you. This moment that you might have in crisis does not define you, but it does matter what it feels like to your outlook and your future, and we understand our responsibility in that. So no matter, as the mayor said, who is in the White House and the divisive dialogue that is sometimes used to tear people down and dehumanize them and define them as other, that is not us. We will live our DC values, and it starts with all of us here and the way that we say you are part of our community and you are loved and welcomed. So I just want to commend all of you for your work in making this happen and let you know how grateful I am to be a part of it. 3 years ago, at the end of hypothermia season on April 1st, there were 1,055 families in the emergency shelter system in our city. That included hotels and DC General. On April 1st, 2019, so this is with year-round access to shelter throughout the intervening years, really trying to support everybody at the time of crisis who had no other safe place and prevent homelessness more frequently. There were 540 families on that same date, April 1st. Wow. And today, I'm proud to share with you that that number is 475 families in our emergency shelter system. So some people asked, if we build such beautiful places, people are going to want to stay. Mm-hmm. And are we going to be able to help them exit to housing? But when we build beautiful places where people are feeling safe, they are actually able to realize more readily their goals and their dreams because they are not in a state of hypervigilance worrying about their safety and their environment. They're able to focus on what they need to do to ensure their children are thriving, that they are thriving, and they are moving forward. And that is what we are about. We understand why our families come to us for help. They want permanency, and we are here to create the conditions and bring the resources to have that happen. So while there continues to remain always more work to do, and we are constantly on an improvement path, I just want to acknowledge that it does matter to take a moment to recognize where we are, to celebrate the success that we are having, to celebrate how much we do together as community, in recognizing where we agree, where we may disagree, and still move forward on behalf of the residents we're here to serve. So thank you very much. I want to recognize the tremendous work of the DGS team as I introduce my colleague, Director Anderson.
Thank you, Director, and thank you, Madam Mayor, for your unwavering support of DGS. And hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is a wonderful day to be a D.C. resident, isn't it? All right. I am Keith Anderson, Director of the Department of General Services, and I extend a hearty welcome to each one of you to witness the groundbreaking of what will become a unique facility within the district's short-term family housing suite of properties. Mayor Bowser, thank you for supporting DGS to implement your vision to make homelessness in the district a non-recurring circumstance for residents most in need. Please give her a hand for that. Councilmember Nadeau, Deputy Mayor Wayne Turnage, and Director Zeilinger, thank you for your unwavering commitment to the residents who will occupy this space and for the continued partnership we share to get the job done. To the members of the Ward 1 advisory team, thank you for your input and feedback to help ensure that this building will meet the needs of the families here through the amenities planned for this property. Let me tell you about some of the features we are excited about. To start, this Ward 1 site is being developed as a community integrated design. This means that DGS is taking community input with some of the exterior aspects of the building for final design. This structure is intended to be seamlessly blend within the existing community. What will be different here are the apartment-style units being planned that will have individual bathroom facilities. Additional features include on-site laundry facilities, a courtyard with a children's play area, a rooftop terrace, and a multi-purpose community room. Also, Wi-Fi access will be available at this location, as well as underground parking for 30 spaces. DGS takes to heart the opportunity to work directly on the short-term family housing program, and I want to thank and support our team for the Ward 1 project. They are Mr. Paul Blackman Jr. to my right. Please give him a round of applause. Robert Tate, project manager for Ward 1 facility. I don't know where Robert went. Oh, there he is. Ralph Cunningham with Cunningham and Quill Architects. I know Ralph. There he is, Ralph. And Michael Siegel, general contractor with GCS Incorporated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there could be no greater reward than helping your fellow neighbor. DGS has proudly delivered short-term family housing projects in wards 4, 7, and 8. Today, we break ground for Ward 1 to help 50 families live with dignity. Mayor Bowser, we look forward to delivering on this project in the fall of 2020. Thank you.
Commissioner Bristol, please join us.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jen Bristol. I'm the ANC Commissioner for 1B06 and want to welcome you to my neighborhood. I'm excited to be here today to break ground on a project that I've been working on for over the past year alongside community members, Mayor's office, Councilmember Nadeau's office, DHS, DGS, and so many more. But today I want to talk to you a little bit more about community. We often preach about inclusivity and bringing people together, but suddenly when a city project like this falls in your backyard, somehow the conversation changes. Someone recently gave me a piece of their mind about this project and said, "You can't honestly say that you're proud of this project and want your name attached to it." Well, I would have liked to have told this person otherwise. I could barely get a word in. And folks are laughing because if you know me, that's actually pretty hard to do. So today, I stand before you here to say, yes, I'm proud of this project. Yes, I want it in my backyard, and yes, in my backyard. ANC 1B was involved from the very beginning and was one of the first to say, yes, in my backyard. We immediately saw why a project like this one would be successful. We have everything that you could possibly want. Access to multiple grocery stores, pharmacies, doctors, public transportation, city services, and more. It's an ideal place for anyone to live, and we should all be so lucky to call this neighborhood home. ANC 1B wrote a resolution welcoming the project and called on the city to fully utilize the space and, frankly, to do more. Although some of our big ideas had a reality check a month later at a well-intentioned community meeting right here at Rita Bright. Well, that meeting was undercut by misinformation and fear that this beloved community center would be left behind. We did learn one thing after that meeting: how much we love Rita Bright. And at this point, I should remind everyone, this community center is not going anywhere. And as Councilmember Nadeau mentioned before, we are in the process of talking about upgrades for this community center and are so excited for the Rita Bright team to be involved with this project and want to say thank you to John, Jamie, Evelina, and others at LAYC for their leadership on this project. At the very beginning of this project, emotions were high and we didn't start off on the best foot. From that point on, it was clear to me just how important communication and engagement were going to be. I made it my mission to be as engaged and transparent as possible. I used my seat at the table to say, how can we get the best possible outcome for the families that are soon going to live here and the whole community? How can we make this a beautiful, dignified living space that the entire community is proud of? I knew I needed to restore trust with the community and also build trust with the DC government team that wasn't used to working with a so eager ANC commissioner. And I knew we had to build an effective advisory team and take the I in this equation and make it a we. The short-term family housing projects stand up advisory teams that are designed to gather input from the community and help decide what the building will look like and how it will eventually interact with the community. I channeled my efforts into building a team that represented a variety of perspectives, had local experts, and above all, had neighbors that could see beyond their interests and work together for the good of the community. And boy, were we lucky to have such a great team. I'd like to recognize some of the members. Tim Fretz, he's the director of operations at the Entry Village. Sinead is here, other DC government members as well. So thank you for your leadership on this. And also a special thank you to the DC government team for embracing all of my ideas and feedback. I know that was a new one for you guys. I'm so proud of the design that we created together and look forward to continuing our work on the advisory team. Next, we'll be creating the Good Neighbor Agreement, which will outline the standards and norms for not only the program provider and families, but for how we, as the surrounding community, can be great, welcoming neighbors. I'm proud to be a champion for this project, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to represent our community. I stand here before you today, proud to say yes in my backyard. Thank you.
Let's hear it for my new favorite commissioner. Wow. Okay, I'm going to take a few questions, then we're all going to move outside and break the ground. Questions? Yes.
I actually have a question about the 4th of July.
Okay, please introduce yourself.
I'm Sam Boston from City.
I hear it's going to be on Thursday.
I was hoping you could share how this will cost the city and whether you have any concerns over digital infrastructure damage with the tanks in the mall or anything surrounding it in general.
We are preparing for the 4th as we do each year. And each year we have the full complement of Metropolitan Police to make sure that people can get in and out of the city, but also to make sure that we're in all 8 wards of the city because there is a lot of activity on the 4th of July all across the city. So we continue to plan to do that. If we have extraordinary costs related to First Amendment activity, which is possible, then we will seek reimbursement from the feds. Any other questions? Yes.
My name is Anthony Will. Just live right across the street. I have to say thank you guys for all the work you guys have done today.
Thank you.
It's an incredible accomplishment, but what is your administration? Hopefully you guys can work on solving the long-term issue of affordable housing here in the district.
Well, we are certainly focused on it, and I'm glad you brought that up because it is a huge part of the solving homelessness equation. So once people stabilize at a facility like the one we will build here, a short-term family housing facility, it's imperative that we have other affordable units for them to move into. And so that's why we have been very focused in my tenure on making those critical investments. In the last 4.5 years, we've produced over 7,200 units, and we have 20,000 in the pipeline. And we have consistently increased funding. This year, I don't know where we ended up. 116. We're supposed to be 130, but it's 116. But we'll work with that. We'll get up to 130 by next year. And we have a preservation fund that allows us to preserve already affordable units that need investment. And we will continue to work with the council on what I also think is hugely important, and that is a workforce housing fund that will allow us to help build units for teachers, firefighters, providers, government workers. Because when we talk about maintaining a middle class in this city and income diversity in this city, we don't have to look much further than the people that work for us every day. And being able to recruit and retain them and have them live in communities where the people that they serve live is very important. So we'll come back to that issue in the next budget season to make sure that people along the income spectrum have a place to find in the district. Thank you.